The Trump administration is going to increase the enlistment age into the Army, National Guard, and Reserve to 42. I'm going to explain how this is actually going to help immigrants in the end. So, in the United States, there's this immigrant benefit called military parole in place. The way it usually plays out is that, like, a mother or a father enter the United States undocumented through the desert, and then eventually they either marry a US citizen or they have a son or daughter born in the United States that turns 21 and can do a petition. Now, usually you need an immediate family member to do this petition so they get a green card, but you also need a valid entry into the United States. And because they enter through the desert, they never have that valid entry, which means they can never qualify for the green card. But if that petitioner, that son or daughter, joins the military, then they can apply for something called military parole in place that creates that valid entry. It substitutes it. And then they have a valid entry through military parole in place. It's not a real entry, but we count it. And they have the family member to do the petition. And at that point, they can get a green card and eventual citizenship. Now, usually when someone's going to do this, they usually do it in time. They do it right when they turn 18 or when they turn 21. And they have two options. They can make the military their career and go full time, or they can pick the National Guard or the Army Reserves and make it part time. And then they become a military member that qualifies for this benefit. Now, there's another group of people that apply for military parole in place, and these are spouses of people who are undocumented. And that means that somebody who is a US citizen who can still join the Army will join the Army for their spouse who is maybe a DACA recipient or somebody that entered without a valid entry. And they get the same benefit for military parole in place. Now, the problem comes when you meet your significant other late in life. Like, what if you meet them in your late 30s? If you meet your significant other who's undocumented in your late 30s, then you missed a lot of the cutoffs to join the military. Some of the branches will allow you to join even later, up to 41 or 42, in the Navy Reserves. So you don't have to go full time. You can just join the Navy Reserves and be a part time military and get the benefit, or the Air Force Reserves, right? The problem is that the Navy Reserves and the Air Force Reserves are traditionally harder to get into. They have higher PT requirements than the Army Reserves or the National Guard. And up until now, the Army Reserves and the National Guard capped it at about 35 years old. But because the Trump administration, in response probably to the Iran conflict, has decided to increase the age to 42, it means that people that met their significant other who's undocumented later in life, in their late 30s, can now have this easier pathway to military service that's part time. Whereas before, they had to either go full time or join one of the harder part time units, such as the Navy or Air Force Reserve. So, what I'm trying to say is unintentionally, he's opened up military parole in place to this new pool of applicants that otherwise cannot get this benefit.